ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at ILTV.tv and watch from any device.
And now moving on. As little progress is being made on the diplomatic front in Vienna to renew the nuclear agreement with Iran, Israel has announced that it is preparing for a potential military strike against the Islamic Republic to ensure that it does not achieve nuclear capabilities, even if it has to go it alone. Yet despite Israel's threats, some in the defense establishment do not believe that Israel has the capabilities to carry out a successful strike against Iran, one that would delay or destroy their nuclear capabilities without the help of the United States. And so joining us now to discuss is Brigadier General in the Reserves Israel, Relik Shafir, the former commander of the Tel-Nof Air Base and a former pilot himself who took part in the 1981 strike against Iraq's reactor. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, nice to see you.
So you were interviewed over the weekend in the New York Times along with other defense experts, and you said that Israel does not have the capacity to carry out a successful strike against all of Iran's facilities. I mean, what can you tell us about this? Can you perhaps elaborate a little bit more?
It's a yes and no. Israel can carry a successful attack on Iran's nuclear capabilities, infrastructure, but most likely cannot obliterate the nuclear program as a whole. Can probably delay it for a time that maybe a year or two, but cannot take it out altogether, because that would take a strategic air force with a lot of time spent over Iran's airspace with air superiority and continuous delivery of munition to all the nuclear sites in order to really take it out. That does not mean that Israel cannot cause substantial damage to the program and delay it for quite a while. So the difference is really between a lethal blow that only a strategic air force can do, like the U.S. Air Force, because it has large bombers such as B-1, B-2 that can carry bunker busters of up to 25,000 pounds, whereas tactical air force such as Israeli Air Force have F-15s that can carry about 3,000 pounds of munition for each bomb. That means that it's difficult to penetrate hardened targets that need to be attacked again and again in order to reach the damage that's required.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were involved in the airstrike against Iraq. I mean, how different is the picture with Iran today?
It is totally different, because the situation in 1981 was that the nuclear plant had no defensive infrastructure. It was guarded by missiles and such, but the site itself was not difficult to penetrate. Whereas the Iranians, who've learned from that experience and others, have fortified their program in hillsides and under fortified concrete, such that it would take repeated strikes in order to penetrate those. So that is a totally different story, and would need a much longer campaign, sustaining a longer campaign in order to completely destroy that system.
And, you know, we also hear a lot about cyber attacks and other such attacks against Iran. But at the end of the day, is the only way to prevent Iran from reaching a nuclear bomb, assuming talks fail, through an airstrike?
No, not really. There are other ways to leverage, to force Iran to change its direction. They're constrained within the Hormuz Straits, such that if they want to have free shipping going in and out, that can be controlled by, let's say, the U.S. Navy. Blockade can be made, all kinds of other targets that could be attacked along the coast. There are many leverages that could be used against Iran in order for them to change their manner of dealing and their continuation of the program other than attacking their nuclear sites. So this is a decision that can be taken by the Europeans and the U.S. in order to coerce them to change their way.
All right, Brigadier General in the Reserves, Relik Shafir, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.